Hello, you've tuned into daily coronavirus updates. Today is the 9th of April. India now has 5,734 people infected with the new coronavirus. This includes 166 deaths and 472 recoveries. 549 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. 214 people from Gujarat, 143 from Maharashtra and 30 from Rajasthan have been infected in a single day. The state of Jharkhand reported its first death today. Globally, 1.5 million people have been infected by the virus and the death toll is over 88,000. The United States continues to report the highest number of cases. New York remains the hardest hit state with over 500 deaths reported in a single day. In its monetary policy report, the Reserve Bank of India today said that the coronavirus pandemic has drastically altered India's growth outlook. India was projected to clock in full-year growth of 5% in 2020 after expanding at a slow pace in the last 3 months of 2019. But the nationwide lockdown is set to sharply impact March quarter growth. Analysts have cut their next year GDP growth projections to 1.5 to 2%, levels unseen in India in decades. Odisha has become the first state to extend the coronavirus lockdown till 30th of April. The state chief minister Naveen Patnaik has said that he recommended the government of India to extend the national lockdown up to the same period. Yesterday, the Prime Minister held an all-party meeting via video conference where many states and experts requested for the lockdown to continue given the rising number of infections across the country. In an interview to China's state-run television network, the Indian envoy said that India is hoping that a stable and orderly process of procurement of protective gear and ventilators from China will be followed on an immediate priority basis. He also said that his current job profile entirely consisted of procuring ventilators and PPE kits for health workers in India. There has been a global rush to procure ventilators and PPE kits from China, which has led to complaints that some countries were taking advantage of their bigger economy. Last week, Brazil's health minister claimed that Chinese suppliers had not honored their contract after the US government sent more than 20 cargo planes to buy the same products. The US has denied the allegations of hijacking Brazil's medical purchase from China. In his interview, the Indian envoy reminded that India had flown 16 tons of medical assistance to Wuhan in one of its aircraft which was evacuating Indian nationals from the epicenter of the outbreak. Brazilian president, in an effort to thank Prime Minister Modi for agreeing to supply the anti-malarial drug hydroxychloroquine to the country, invoked Hindu god Hanuman and Jesus Christ to claim that India and Brazil will join forces to defeat the coronavirus pandemic. Brazil, along with the United States and other countries, had requested India to supply them with HCQ, a contentions prophylactic for health workers on the front lines against COVID-19. On Tuesday, India announced that it will relax the prohibition of the export of HCQ and paracetamol for neighboring countries and for those nations who have been hit hardest by the COVID-19 pandemic. Palestinian health officials appealed to international organizations to provide Gaza with testing kits as well as 100 ventilators and 150 beds for intensive care units. He said that the Gaza Strip has no more coronavirus test kits. Gaza has reported 13 cases of coronavirus infection, all of whom are at quarantine facilities. The impoverished Gaza Strip has for years been under a blockade led by neighboring Israel. Last week, Israel linked any assistance it might offer to Gaza Strip to its attempts to recover 2 Israeli soldiers lost during the 2014 war in the Palestinian enclave. In a response to a PIL on the plight of migrant workers during coronavirus lockdown in India, the centre submitted a report in the Supreme Court which said that of 6.3 lakh migrant workers being sheltered in government-run camps, around half or 47% are in camps run by Kerala. The Ministry of Home Affairs report claimed that besides operating camps, the Kerala government gave food to over 54 lakh migrant workers, while NGOs distributed packets to over 30 lakh labourers in over 9,000 camps. According to a study published in the journal Science, cats can become infected with the new coronavirus, but dogs appear not to be vulnerable. The study also found that cats can infect each other via respiratory droplets. These findings have prompted the WHO to look more closely at the role of pets in this health crisis. The Science Journal's findings supports an earlier study by Hong Kong's Agriculture, Fisheries and Conservation Department that pet cats and even some dogs can host the disease. But the Hong Kong study said that cats and dogs cannot pass the new coronavirus to humans, even if they test positive. This comes after a tiger was infected with the novel coronavirus in New York City's Bronx Zoo this week. A house cat was also tested positive for coronavirus in Hong Kong this month. That's all for today. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow. Until then, stay safe.